We are days away from Cleveland Browns football being back on our TVs. Smash that like button if you're hyped about it. And welcome into the Browns Report, everybody. I'm your host, Joey O'Donohue, and today we're talking about the Cleveland Browns starters going into Week 1. We'll start with the obvious. Quarterback Joe Flacco back at the helm for Cleveland. Starting running back for the Browns right now is Jerome Ford. This is an interesting development because we still have no word on Quinshon Judkins. So you look at the Browns running back room, and on the depth chart right now, it's just two running backs. It's Ford and Sampson, and then they might be able to use Rocket Sanders if he's up to speed. But Judkins is still in no man's land. So Ford, maybe a surprising one to some, but he will be the RB1 at the moment going into the game against the Bengals. We do have a quote from Browns beat reporter Maliek Collins, though, with some promising a promising outlook on Judkins' situation. She says, I believe Judkins will be back with the Browns soon, possibly even sometime this week as they prepare for the Bengals. If he makes it back early enough in the week, he could possibly contribute some in the opener. Now, I don't know where Mary Kay is getting this from, but I think it would be kind of surprising if Judkins was able to play in Week 1. It's Tuesday at the moment, and we still have no word, no update on Judkins and where they're at with negotiations. And it would be a quick turnaround for him to learn the playbook, even if a deal were to get done right now. So while it'd be cool to see a deal come out this week, and I do think that's possible and would shock us all, I don't think it's likely that Judkins gets up to speed that quick and they're able to put a pin in their negotiations. Plus, the NFL is still investigating Quinshon. So we think it's because of the guaranteed money issue as well in the contract. The Browns don't want to guarantee him millions of dollars if he's not going to be able to play most of the season. So they're still waiting on that, but I think it's a bit of a long shot to see Judkins this week. Moving on from Ford, let's get to tight end. We know it's going to be David Njoku. The Beast is back. I like him a lot this year, and I'm drafting him in fantasy. Over to the wide receivers. Jerry Jeudy, we know, will be the one. Had quite the breakout year last season. Cedric Tillman will be wide receiver 2 on the Browns' current starting lineup. And Jamari Thrash is being listed at wide receiver 3 on all depth charts that you look at currently. This is an interesting development because I bet it's a pretty open spot right now. Thrash is being listed as the 3. But with Isaiah Bond being in the mix, Gage Larvadain, who I'm super happy, made the 53-man roster as I predicted here on the show, just because I love the way he's been working and the way his preseason developed. Also, DeAndre Carter did make the 53-man. He'll probably be primarily used in the return game, but he's an option to receive as well. So I want to know from the people, from the Browns fans themselves, who do you think will be the Browns wide receiver 3 by the end of the season? If you think it'll stay Jamari Thrash, type JT. If you think Gage Larvadain earns his way up, type GL. If you think it's Isaiah Bond, type IB. And finally, if you think it's another player, type OP. Maybe you think the Browns bring out Maliek Collins from the practice squad. Maybe you think they go out and get someone else. I want to know your opinion, who you think it will be by the end of the season. I would like to see Isaiah Bond become a standout player for the Browns and earn that spot. Moving on to the offensive line. Big DeJuan Jones will hold down that left tackle spot once again. And I say Big DeJuan Jones because he is 6'8", 374 pounds. He's massive. Maybe not that quick, but no one's going straight through them. I've seen them get around him, though. And we actually just saw a stat that the Browns have the second heaviest offensive line unit entering the 2025 season. DeJuan Jones definitely helped contribute to that, but Cleveland's got a big, strong unit up front this season. And once again, Joel Bitonio will be helping out. One of the captains this year for Cleveland. Also made a couple all-pro teams in his day. Ethan Posick will be Cleveland's starting center. We got a promising update from Kevin Stefanski just recently that Posick is looking good and has potential to play in Week 1. So we'll get you updated on whether he will be available or not. But at the moment, seems like he will be. And regardless, he'll be in the Browns starting lineup for the 2025 NFL season going forward. Wyatt Teller, also back to man that right guard slot. And finally, at right tackle, we'll have Jack Conklin, the former first-round pick from the Tennessee Titans, another guy who's made a couple all-pro teams in his day. I'm so excited to tell you guys about our proud sponsor. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Honestly, I'm just so ready for football to be back on Sundays. All is right when that happens, and I'm big into daily fantasy with PrizePicks. I'm obsessed with it because it makes all the games more entertaining. And before the Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. PrizePicks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 plus states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. And I'm in Texas right now, and so I've cooked up an awesome couple of picks for week 1. First of all, PrizePicks is giving you guys a free deal where you can get Dak Prescott more than half a yard. Look, he's playing a great defense, but I think he's going to do it more than half a yard passing. Come on, that's free from PrizePicks. Also, David Njoku, I think is going to have more than 49.5 receiving yards, and Jerome Ford more than half a touchdown. Cleveland only has 2 running backs on their depth chart right now. Ford's going to be the workhorse. He'll get the goal line carries. That's my awesome lineup. You can tail me if you want, or you can fade me and make your own picks. But download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Let's move on to the Browns' starting defensive line. We know one for sure. Myles Garrett, no doubt about that. Might be the best player in all of football, but certainly the best defensive player in football, and that is backed by the NFL. If any of you watched the NFL's top 100 players of 2025, Myles Garrett earned the number 8 spot. He was the first defender shown on that list of top 100 players. So the NFL's backing it. He's a defensive player of the year. Garrett, an absolute stud. That's what we know. But do you agree with the NFL's ranking? Where would you rank Myles Garrett on the NFL's top 100? Comment a number where you rank Myles Garrett in the league right now. I'm glad he was the first defender off the board, but I bet you could argue as a football player, he's top 5 in the league. So let me know what you think in the comments, but we are so happy to have Big Myles back in Cleveland this year, followed by Maliek Collins. He'll be on the lineup left for defensive tackles, and Mason Graham, the new rookie, on the right side, number 5 overall pick in the draft. And finally, Alex Wright rounds out that D-line on the right side at defensive end. And Cleveland is stacked at defensive line this season, guys. Like, those are the 4 of the starters, but there are a lot of names that could get in. Isaiah McGuire, we'll see time. Shelby Harris. Aiden Huntington, who really proved himself in preseason, is a player that you're going to want to look out for. He's 3rd right now on his position. That's how deep Cleveland is. So a lot of good depth in that defensive line room. Cleveland is going to be scary to other quarterbacks, and they'll be applying pressure. Moving on to the Browns' starting linebackers. At the weak side, the will linebacker, Mohamoud Diabate, and the Mike we're super excited about, Carson Schwesinger, rookie out of UCLA, earned Cleveland's Most Outstanding Rookie Award in training camp. He's everywhere on the field. Get to know the name Carson Schwesinger in Cleveland. And finally, strong side, Sam linebacker, will be Devin Bush. A very interesting story we'll be following to see how he does, the former Steeler, makes his way to Cleveland. In the secondary, no doubt about CB1 in Cleveland, Denzel Ward back and likely healthy for the whole season, we hope. Greg Newsome obviously going to be CB2, pairing him with Ward. And CB3, another spot that's a little bit up in the air. Currently, the Browns have Cameron Mitchell as their starting nickel. Now, Miles Harden could end up getting in, or they might even bring in another corner. I think that's a room where they could use a little bit more depth and should go out and trade for a corner. Safeties, we got Grant Delpit back. And finally, Ronnie Hickman, another Cleveland Brown that they refer to as Rocket. That rounds out the Browns' secondary. So we looked at the offense. We looked at the defense. Which side of the ball is better for Cleveland? Type O if you think Cleveland's going to have a better offense. Type D if you think their defense is the stronger side of the field. Let me know in the comments right now. Moving on to the special teams. Corey Bojorquez, one of the best punters in all of football. of course, got the starting nod. Andre Schmidt will be Cleveland's kicker this year. This will be an interesting one to tap into. I told you guys I think Hopkins should be cut. I predicted him to be cut, and he is officially out of Cleveland. So Schmidt, a kicker that had not really gotten much recognition at all, even spent some time in the UFL, will be potentially deciding games for the Browns. A storyline we'll be following here. DeAndre Carter listed as the kick returner and punt returner at the moment. If Carter is healthy, he'll be doing that in week 1. But potentially we might see Larvadain get a little bit of that work if Carter is still nursing an injury. And long snapper Rex Sunahara will be long snapping, one of the only Asian players in the NFL. That will be Cleveland's projected starters for the season. Get hyped about it because football's back. Not only football, but Cleveland Browns football. If you made it to the end of the video, you're a diehard Browns fan just like me. If you watched all those players, then I know you are. Comment woof woof, and I'll go through and like your comment so I know who the real diehard Browns fans are in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you are subscribed all season long for the best Browns news, content, analysis, and we'll be going live for every game this season. So get hyped, folks, because the NFL is back, and we'll see you every week here on the Browns Report.